Hi there, and welcome to this week's weekly Gersnet Podcast. Hi there, and welcome to this week's edition of your weekly Gersnet Podcast with myself, Colin Armstrong, and what has been a really disappointing day for Rangers, losing 1-0 to Livingston, and all the good work from the previous week when we caught up with Celtic and Hearts, all down the Swanee now, and we're sort of back to square one. So we'll have a look at that. We'll have a look at what was a really poor game for Rangers today at Livingston. We'll also have a wee look at the Ayr United game through the week there, and we'll preview the semi-final against Aberdeen and all the shenanigans that have come out of that. And we'll also have a look at a big night of European action at Ibrox on Thursday against Rapid Vienna. We'll have a wee look at that and a wee sneaky look at the Hearts game next Thursday, which has now become a huge game for Rangers. Joining me tonight on your weekly Gersnet Podcast is David Fraser. How you doing, David?
Not too bad, Colin. Yourself?
Oh, no, I'm a bit miserable tonight, to be honest. Bit scunnered after that today, but hey-ho, we move on. We learn from it and move on. Is that not the mantra at Rangers?
Guess so.
And joining David and myself is Lewis McMillan. How are you, Lewis? Are you any cheerier than myself and David?
Not really. Pretty disappointed.
Yeah.
Terrible result today. Terrible end to the weekend.
It was. It's been. I mean, we had Christine on the podcast last week, and I said to her at one point that I didn't know how to deal with all this positivity because everything was going well. So it's back to normal service has been resumed as we're talking about a disappointing result. We'll get right into it. Today's game at Livingston. Really poor performance by Rangers, losing 1-0. Dolly Menga scoring the only goal of the game. Steven Gerrard said after it, "I'm disappointed and frustrated, but I have no complaints in terms of the result. Livingston deserved to beat us today, so congratulations to them. But in terms of us, it was nowhere near good enough in the final third." So really, really poor. David, I'll come to you first. I think I know the answer to this, but I'll ask you anyway. What did you make of the overall performance today?
From a Rangers perspective, very poor. They played into Livingston's hands, but I think you've got to give credit to Livingston. I think they played really, really well. Craig Halkett at the back, an ex-Ranger, a tremendous game. But as the manager said, Colin, we just lacked a cutting edge in the final third. The midfield wasn't great either, and some of the defending was pretty abject, if truth be told.
Yeah, I genuinely can't disagree with anything there. I thought it's probably the worst performance I've seen from Rangers since Gerrard arrived. But I do think it starts to pose other questions that we'll cover later on in the show. Lewis, coming to yourself, at the starting 11 today, Steven Gerrard brought in Worrell for Katic. Kent started on the bench. Barisic came in place of Flanagan. Do you think he got the starting 11 right?
I don't know if he got the starting 11 right, but I can see where he was going with the starting 11. I think he went for more of a British type player. Bringing in Lafferty instead of Kent or Middleton, and bringing in Joe Worrell instead of Katic, they're kind of much more British style players who'll be used to going Route 1 or playing against Route 1 football. So I can see why he made the changes, but I mean, the result speaks for itself. We just looked slow and lackadaisical, and there was a lack of urgency in the team from the defence straight to the attack. Again,
it's difficult to disagree with much what you've said there. I thought we started okay, and I suppose you could argue over the full piece, we dominated possession. But it's what we done with it. I thought we were too slow in moving the ball at times, kind of reflecting on what you're saying there. The tempo was all wrong. And the final delivery, time and time again from Candias, Barisic, Tavernier, every time they got the opportunity to put the ball in the box, the quality was really, really poor. Just a really all-round miserable performance for Rangers today. And you wonder if it's pointing to a bigger issue here, which I'll come to you on, David. An away form. Only found this out today. That's We've not won a game away from home in the league since the 27th of February, which was against St Johnstone, which we won 4-1. This season we've played 4, won none, drawn 2 and lost 2. Now obviously we were seconds away from winning our opening game against Aberdeen away from home. Our last second goal denied us that, and the same happened at Motherwell a couple of weeks later. Is the away form, those goals have now denied us vital points in this title race, but is the away form in general in the league becoming a bit of a problem?
You've got to view it that way, Colin. To only take 2 points from a possible 12 points to an issue. Today you've seen how should I put it, how lacking in genuine class Rangers have in players going forward. You made mention there of Daniel Candace. Some of his deliveries into the box were pitiful. Barisic, he put some reasonable balls in, but as Stevie Gerrard said, sometimes the crosses were overhit, sometimes they were underhit, and there seemed to be a lack of a player to unlock the door, so to speak. Now, obviously, he decided to drop Ryan Kent, presumably with one eye on the Rapid game to give him a rest, and there seemed to be a lack of creativity, a cutting edge, a defence splitting pass. Even though Scott Arfield put one through for Barisic to try and cut back to Kyle Lafferty, but unfortunately he slipped. But there wasn't any genuine class on the pitch for me. And when you're going away from home and you're coming up against an organised team of players that are hungry, getting about the pitch, getting in your face like the Livingston players were today, and it's going to be an issue. And to be perfectly frank, I think you've seen a blueprint there for the rest of the teams in the league, possibly with Celtic, as to how to play against Rangers. That if you're organised and you're fluid in your midfield shape in terms of switching from a flat 4 to a 2, then a 3 to try and close down space and force players back the way, then you can see how relatively easily you can nullify the Rangers team.
Some interesting points there, David. Lewis, with that defeat today, we're 8 points off the pace. We're 8 points behind Hearts, who come to Ibrox next week. That's now a huge game for Rangers. And if that doesn't go our way, are we in danger? And I sort of mentioned this in one of the earlier podcasts because of the run of fixtures we had. Are we now in real danger of losing too much ground to catch up again? If we're going to display this sort of patchy form, especially away from home, are we leaving ourselves too much work to do?
Well, I think Saturday's now become a must-win game. I think it was a must-win game before the Livingston game, but now, after today's result, we need to pick up the points next weekend. But to go back to what David was saying, we look a completely different team at home. We were talking about a lack of genuine quality today. We were mentioning players like Kent, Middleton, Barisic. These are the guys who, when they're in front of the Ibrox crowd, some of their play has been unbelievable this season. We look a completely different team, and it's really strange watching the team today. They look completely different players away from home. They're like a fish out of water. I've got 100% belief that we'll put on a really good display on Thursday, and we'll put on a really good display on Sunday again. They just look completely different players. We've got a lot of talent in that team, they are quite young still. When you look through our front line, Middleton's young, Kent's young, Ajaria, who's very good in the ball. They're all young players, so maybe that points to the kind of inconsistency away from home. But at home, I still feel this Steven Gerrard team, you're confident of them beating anybody in this league.
Yeah, but I mean, to win titles and stuff like that, Lewis, you need a decent away form as well. I mean, it was a home form that undone us last season. Away from home, we were really, really good. We were really strong, and we've fixed the home form. We've turned that around with the looks of things, and now the away form seems to have hit the skids a wee bit.
I think we really need to pick up the points on Sunday, and we need to rectify this away form. But I think once the team comes together, they're showing all the right signs at home. I have faith that we can turn the away form around. I think having bad home form last season was a bigger mental block because I think the pressure of the Ibrox crowd, it got to the players. The players couldn't handle the weight of the jersey was too heavy for a lot of them last season. This season, I don't think we have that problem. I do think that over time, the away form will rectify itself. But it needs to start now. We need to. That needs to be the last points we drop away from home. If we want to challenge for the title this season, we need to rectify it ASAP.
Yeah, I think we need to go on a wee bit of an extended run now. I don't think there's any doubt about that. I think we need to, go on a winning run of at least sort of 7-8 games to sort of see where that puts us. David, there was, I don't think you could say anyone, got past marks today. But, there's certain players you expect a wee bit more from. One that disappointed me today was Tav. As a captain, I was really frustrated that I questioned the decision to make him captain, and I think you saw that today. I don't think he drove the team on when things were going against him. Another one who frustrated me today was Alfredo Morelos. Now, last week in the pod, we were gushing over him. Thought it was his best performance since he came to Rangers. Some of his interplay, bringing others into play, and he got his goal. A fantastic performance from last week. But today, when things were going against him, and this is what irritates me more than else, he doesn't look like someone that thinks, right, it's a hard day at the office, I need to knuckle down. He looks like someone when it's not going his way, the petulant face comes on, and he just looks, as I said, petulant, moody. He looks like someone you actually wouldn't want to play with. Now, there's going to be days that we get games like this. It's going to be just a win at all costs. The fancy football goes out the window. If you've got someone in the team like that, is that going to be a problem in future games?
Possibly. I concur with where you're coming from. Everything you said there, I can agree with. His demeanour. Sometimes you think I can't be bothered, hitting him with passes. But seeing his defence, Colin, the service he got today was pretty poor. I'm not exonerating him from any criticism, or exempting him from criticism rather. Some of his hold-up play, his touch wasn't the greatest, and you could make excuses from, say, the pitch or whatever. I don't think the pitch was all that bad today, even though I'm dead against plastic pitches in the Premier League. But Alfie, he seemed to cut a petulant figure. You see his face, he seems as if the ball's against him. I don't know. I just think the boys are mature, Colin. I think it's as simple as that. I know he's only 22. The manager talked him up, got him a good deal. They see potential to be realising him in terms of a big transfer fee to move him on. So I just hope that he's had a stinker today and he turns up on Thursday night against Rapid. But get into the league games going forward. He needs to take a wee bit more responsibility. If he can't expect to play an 8 or a 9 out of 10 game every week. If he's not firing all cylinders going forward, try and bring other players into the game. I don't know if you noticed today, he went wide out to the touchline quite a bit today. And I don't know whether that was just a lack of frustration because there wasn't getting much change at the Livingston centre halves in the middle. That's usually the case when players drift out wide. But I think Rangers just came up against an immovable force today. They didn't create any great chances, and the Livingston defenders look pretty comfortable. And I think you've just got to say, well, bad day at the office. We're guilty of trying to score the perfect goal by walking the ball into the net. I think that's a valid criticism of the players, and we just didn't turn up today.
Yeah, I would agree. And there wasn't anything there that you said that I would take issue with at all, David. I worry about Morelos. I find him a frustrating player because on his game, as he showed last week, when he's in the mood, he is a really important player for Rangers and a strong player, and one that you would think that if he continued that form, we would get a decent transfer fee for him if he ever decided to move on. But my worry is he's got too many of these games in him, too many games where it's not going his way. It's almost like, the toys are out the pram. He just becomes this petulant, unmanageable sort of force up front that, as I said, I don't think teammates would enjoy playing with him.
I agree with what you're saying. He's very seldom do you get a kind of middling performance from him. Either he's pretty poor, or as you've alluded to, he can be outstanding and he's scoring and he seems up for it. I don't know whether maybe the management need to look at where they might maybe change his role in a team. I mean, Kyle Lafferty, he didn't have a great game today either, but in his defence again, very little in the way of service. And a lot of balls were getting played up to Kyle Lafferty, and he was doing a Gordon Dury, trying to cushion his own headers and run onto his own headers, and it was feeding scraps the centre forward. So I totally take your point. I mean, sometimes he just, if you're watching a game on television, you see his face and it's tripping him and it's the ball's against him, and he's remonstrating with the officials speaking in Spanish, and you can read some of the words his mouth, and you're thinking, just cut out your game. There's no need for it. But as a hard back to, he's 22. I think he's pretty immature, and Steven Gerrard and the team, they've got a big man management job on, but they seem to have a lot of faith in the boy, and I hope that it comes off in the long term. But as again, next week's tailor-made for him. It's a 6-pointer. There's 6-pointers all over the league next season. Aberdeen play St Mirren, Kilmarnock away to Dundee at Dens Park, and Hibs play Hamilton Accies at Easter Road. Obviously Celtic go to McDermott Park as well. So there are a lot of 6-pointers there, and it's tailor-made for Alfie to step up to the plate and lead the line, bang a couple of goals in and get us moving in the right direction again.
Right, moving on to the next topic for tonight's podcast. We'll have a wee look at the Ayr United game and a wee look at the semi-final against Aberdeen. Obviously comfortable winners on Wednesday night against Ayr United, 4-0. Fairly routine victory, and up until earlier on today, I kind of felt that was going to be the norm for a wee while. Lewis, I'll come to you first on this one. I must admit, I'd done this bit yesterday, so this question will maybe look a wee bit out of date after today's events. However, I'll go with it anyway. When I saw the side that Gerrard selected for the Ayr game, I kind of got the feeling that he was really growing into the role of using his squad. He realises he's got bigger battles ahead. Obviously, the Livingston game today, we've got Rapid Vienna and then Hearts. So the side he selected against Ayr, did you get that feeling that Gerrard's now becoming quite adept at using the squad that's at his disposal?
Yeah, I mean, as you say, before today's result, after looking at the team selection against Ayr, I thought it was a really good management by Steven Gerrard, bringing in some of the recovering players like Dorrans, giving Middleton his first start because he's been champing at the bit to get some more minutes under his belt. I thought it was really good use of the whole squad, and after the result, seeing the 4-0 victory, you thought, wow, we've really got a strong squad this year that we can make that many changes and go and comfortably put 4 past a really strong Ayr United team. I mean, they're flying high in the Championship, and even Ian McCall after the game said that if they'd have scored, then we'd have still went on and beat them 4-5-1. He thought that no matter what, Rangers were going to win that game comfortably.
Well, I mean, in terms of the performance, you would have to agree with him, and I would agree Ayr United are flying. There was the possibility that, that could have been a wee bit of a banana skin. And yeah. I think, and certainly last season, it would have been one that could have been a banana skin. But, even despite the changes that he made and the players that he brought in, we handled it fairly well, I thought. Yeah, and there's some good performances throughout the team. I thought it was really good to see Dorrans return. I thought Middleton was excellent. Halliday is like a completely different player under Steven Gerrard. He looks composed. He looked assured. Some of his passing was excellent, albeit against the Championship side. And we did see Halliday shine in the Championship in his first season, but there was some good individual and a team performance on Wednesday night. I have to say, it was also good to see Halliday. Given where the boy was a year ago, it was good to see him captain the side. I thought I was really chuffed for him when I saw him getting the captain's armband. Yeah, I mean, it marks a complete turnaround from the humiliation of having the Celtic fans chanting his name. He's completely put that behind him. He's came in
with a clean slate under Steven Gerrard, and he's really shown that although he might not be a starter for this side, he definitely has his part to play in the squad going forward.
Absolutely, absolutely. David, coming back to yourself, Jordan Rossiter came on with sort of 35 minutes to go on Wednesday night. Now, we all know about Jordan Rossiter. But after the game, Steven Gerrard sort of made some comments about him. He said, I've been really impressed with Jordan Rossiter. I already knew him through his time at Liverpool. The last couple of years have been very tough, so you're looking for something to ask. Is it affecting him? But I can't see anything. I speak to him regularly and he's fine. There is no doubt away from here, he will have had times when he's on the floor and down. I suppose that's where he needs his family and girlfriend to really help him. You only see him when he comes here, and he's been really strong. You can obviously see the desperation in him to be fit and available, because whatever you give him to do, he does it and more. Now, I don't know your views of Jordan Rossiter, but I like him as a player. In fact, I think he's a great player, but you know, this injury situation has been going on for a couple of years now. It was Warburton that brought him to the club. So, despite the boy's obvious talent, is time running out for Jordan Rossiter at Rangers?
I don't think so. Go on. He's a good player, Jordan. He's always got time and space in the ball, which is usually the hallmarks of a good player. The other night, he ran about the pitch trying to contribute, which was good. His enthusiasm was there for all to see. He had one challenge that I can remember where your heart's in your mouth with him getting into a 50-50 or a 60-40 in favour of the United player, and you're just, you know, you're kind of tentatively watching it and thinking, oh, let's hope he doesn't, you know, he's not made of glass here. But fair play to him, he went in, he recovered, and he was fine after it. So I don't think there's time running against. I think I'm right in saying he signed a 4-year contract, so he's got a season and a bit left to impress and hopefully prove his fitness and his repeat fitness for game time in terms of trying to earn a new contract. If that's how Stevie wants to, that's the route he wants to go down. So, by all accounts, he was the player that was impressing most in pre-season until that niggle just got him and set him back again. So, I'm with you, mate. I think he's a tremendous talent. I think there's a lot to come from him, and I can't wait to get him in the team and get him a good run of half a dozen to 10 games to actually show what he's made of. And I think that the support at Lads will be pleasantly surprised, and a lot of the doubters that question whether his longevity in a Rangers shirt, I think he'll prove a lot of them wrong given the chance.
I hope you're right, David, because any time I've seen him, I think he's looked top drawer. I really do. I was doing a wee bit on him yesterday. I was looking about in various forums and all that on down in Liverpool, and they rated him. I think at one stage he was tipped to replace Steven Gerrard. He was going to be the sort of natural replacement. And I think the game against Hibs at Easter Road last season, I think you really saw what he could be for Rangers. But there is this that you can't deny. He's been there for 2 and a bit years, and he's been fit for about 2.5 weeks or something. So I do worry for him. I really do. I think the time's running out on him. I don't think the club can afford to just keep him there in the hope that he'll eventually get fit. And some players are like that. They just, Darren Anderton, they used to call him sick note. That's the one that comes to mind. Players that just seem to constantly break down with wee niggles, and I'm starting to wonder if Jordan's one of them. Lewis obviously got through 4-0 semi-final draw against Aberdeen. Now, Morelos was suspended. He'd got a booking, on the game on Wednesday night, which means he's suspended. Lafferty's cup-tied after playing for Hearts in the tournament. Do you fancy Rangers' chances in the semi-final? We've obviously never been in a major final since we got back to the top tier. Does this provide a real opportunity to do that?
I mean, with Morelos suspended and Lafferty cup-tied, it just shows you that how thin we are up top. Sadiq doesn't seem to be getting a look in at all, so we'll be looking to play the semi-final without a recognised striker. I think we have the attacking flair to get past Aberdeen, but after today's result, my confidence is not as high as it probably was after the Ayr result. We really need to look at strengthening that going forward, but hopefully we'll have enough as a team to actually go and create chances and take it against Aberdeen. I would probably play Middleton through the middle, just due to his pace, and his finishing's been pretty good when he's had one-on-one chances with the keeper.
Middleton through the middle is an interesting one. I mean, it seems I'm about to bring Big Umar into it now, but it does seem that Gerrard he's made his mind up about him. But I mean, I don't think Aberdeen are a great side. It'll be at home. Well, it's not home, but it'll be in Glasgow. I think you've got to be positive. I think this presents a really good opportunity to get to a final and hopefully end this. I know we've won our respective divisions and the Petrofac and all that, but we've not won a major trophy for far too long. So I think this represents a good opportunity.
It represents a great opportunity to get into the final. You have to wonder how bad is Umar Sadiq in training to not even get a run out against Ayr United in a League Cup.
Well, this is the very point I'm about to come on to with David. Gerrard made comments through the week there. I'll reiterate what he said here about Umar. We need more in every department. There is not one thing where you think, well, if he does that a bit better, he's in. He needs to do more. We understand he's a young player. I've spoken to him on numerous occasions. He's had individual training. We've done everything as a staff to help him. But you don't have to be a rocket scientist to work it out. He hasn't had much game time, basically, because he's not good enough. I mean, Gerrard's comments, and I don't know if you've seen them, the actual interview online, the tone in which he said it was fairly damning, I felt. Do you think that represents the end for Sadiq at Ibrox and that he's not really going to get much game time? Or do you think Gerrard was trying to play, the mind trick, trying to publicly, not humiliate him, but, go public with that he's not doing enough to try and get a reaction out of him? Or do you think he's done?
Difficult to say, Colin. I seen the press conference. I think it was Chris Jack that asked the question. What can he do? What single thing can he do to improve? Or there's a number of things, and Stephen, quite poker face, said everything. In quite a damning manner.
It was very damning.
It looked as though it looked pretty peeved at him, even his name being mentioned, to be honest with you. You could take that from it. But I think Umar Sadiq, it's no surprise to a lot of fans that this is a guy that kind of tends to blow hot and cold. I know on the back of the St Mirren game, I think you and I did the pod, and we actually thought that, in fact, it wasn't the St Mirren game, it was the Wigan game, the friendly.
Yeah, he won in the friendly and he looked okay, actually.
We kind of looked a wee bit of ability about it. And I talked to him saying, you don't get a game, you don't get signed for a Serie A club unless you've got something about you. And maybe it's an application thing, I don't know. Stevie in his press conference said that Rangers have done everything to kind of make him feel welcome, make him feel assured within himself in terms of the turning up for training, and they said the fans have taken to him and all the rest of it. So all the stuff there that you would expect, everything is tailor made for you to be the best that you can possibly be. And whether he's just he's a bomb scare and the ball bounces off him, he's just not good enough. I mean, I've heard all sorts of stuff that he's absolutely torturing training. And as Lewis said, I mean, assuming he wasn't carrying an injury or he's not 100% fit, to not get even a place in the bench, given the fact that he was on the bench against Villarreal, to not get a place in the bench and get a run out against Ayr United at Ibrox says a lot. And the fact that you're saying there, does it represent the interim? I would tend to think that there's a good 75 to 80% chance that probably will spell the interim. I think there's Stephen actually said though that he won't be returning to Roma in January, so I don't know whether that's to do with the contractual situation with him and they're lumbered with him, but you'd like to think that the boy's going to turn up at some point. Lewis is saying there, with Fred being up top, given the Kyle Lafferty's cup tie for the cup semi against Aberdeen and Morelos is suspended, but if you can't get up for it, and it must be dawning on him that time's running out for him at Roma, never mind Rangers. So I just hope that he can pull the finger out and and get yourself in the start, if not in the starting 11, at least in the squad.
Yeah, I mean, again, difficult to disagree with you. I just wonder if it's an attitude thing. You know, I just kind of wonder, because at the end of the day, I'm assuming Stevie G was involved in the recruitment process of him. You know, so that, and Rangers must have seen something to bring him over here. And I just wonder if it's the Serie A thing. He's turned up thinking, I've came from a Serie A club. This is a club in Scotland. I'm going to walk into that team. And I think, you know, when you look at the rehabilitation of Andy Halliday, a lot of that's down to his attitude, I think, you know. So I just wonder if Big Sadiq's strolling in there with the wrong attitude and Gerrard's just took a dislike to him. Guys, I'll come to both of you on this one, because it's caused a bit of a stushy. I mean, obviously because of the European commitments of Rangers and Celtic in the Europa League, there was a whole stushy about, you know, when the games were going to get played. So they've now come up with this wonderful arrangement where both games will be played on the Sunday at Hampden. Rangers and Aberdeen will be the lunchtime kick-off. Celtic Hearts 7:45. Now, this has created all manner of criticism. Craig Levine's, he says, in all my time in football, I've never seen such a disregard for supporters in any situation. I would argue that the Rangers fans that had to attend 5 games in 11 days would take issue with that, but I know where he's coming from. James Dornan's also had some stuff to say about it. He's got in touch with the SPFL, highlighting concerns. The main ones being, we could be in a situation that 4 groups of fans will be in Glasgow on the same day, drinking alcohol and getting involved in nonsense. Concerns around litter around the local area, which is his constituents say. And he's also concerned about Police Scotland resources being stretched, etc., etc. Guys, I'll come to both of you on this. Have the SPFL made an absolute mess of this? I'll come to you first, Lewis.
Yeah, it's an absolutely baffling decision for a multitude of reasons. Firstly, the football. You've got to play 2 important games on the pitch in the same day. So, for example, if the first match is to go to extra time, the groundsmen have to turn it over and then get it ready for a night game. If the weather's bad, then the second game is going to suffer from the beating that the pitch took in the first game. And then you come to the overall safety aspect of the fans. You have fans travelling in for 12 o'clock kickoff. If the game goes to extra time, you'll have fans travelling home. You'll have fans drinking in pubs. You'll have fans travelling out of the city whilst the other fans are travelling into the city. You're talking about 100,000 fans in Glasgow on the same day, crossing paths. It's going to be an absolute nightmare. I don't know how Police Scotland signed it off, but it's never happened before, and I never thought I'd see the day when it happened. And it just sounds like a crazy idea from start to finish.
What about yourself, David? How do you feel about it?
On the surface of it, it seems madness, Colin. It has taken place before, back in the 80s. Celtic played Aberdeen at Hampden and Rangers played St Mirren at Parkhead. So there's precedent there. But
different stadiums, though.
That's obviously different grounds, though.
Yeah.
From a policing perspective, it's obviously very similar. But yeah, it just, the cynic in me just says that it sums up the amateurish nature of Scottish football. That you would have 2 games at Hampden on the same day. The likelihood of poor weather could play a contributory factor to the pitch being bad for the Hearts Celtic game, which James Dornan, funnily enough, was one of his bullet points in his letter to Neil Doncaster. I did notice that, yeah. How that's representing his constituents, I don't know.
I think we all know the motivation for him putting that in there.
It may well represent some of his constituents, but but it's certainly not speaking for all of them. And I'm ruling out Hearts fans there. In all seriousness, as Lewis has alluded to, I mean, you've got the potential for a real powder keg there. Police Scotland have signed it off, so they've got a job on. I only hope that all fans of all 4 clubs behave well. Seen today, regretfully, the linesman at the game get hurt today by an object or a missile coming forward supporters, or where our supporters were on the ground. Obviously, allegedly, it was quite possibly a Rangers supporter that's thrown an object. So I hope that the fans are well behaved, there's no trouble, and I hope that there's good games. We're obviously first on the pitch, and leaving aside, the selection headaches that Gerard's got, I just hope that we can rise to the occasion, and hopefully, the political fallout, if there is some after it, takes a back seat, and we don't get embroiled in it. Again,
I have to disagree with much you've said there. On the turnaround thing, I mean, I think you have to sort of praise the staff at Hampden. I mean, after the Scottish Cup final, I mean, Hibs fans trashed the place, and they managed to turn that round. There was a game on Hampden the following day. They managed to turn it round. Everything was fixed. But the policing aspect, we're talking about a police force that couldn't stop Hibs fans getting on the park that day. So that aspect does worry me. The fact that so many groups of supporters are going to be heading to the same venue within a few hours of one another. Yeah, I think that's a worrying aspect. But we'll see what comes out in the wash, I suppose. Right, moving on to the final topic tonight. Obviously, a big night of European action at Ibrox on Thursday against Rapid Vienna. Match day 2 of Group H. So we're all looking forward to that. Wee quick update on proceedings. Rangers are currently sitting second in the group with 1 point after the draw against Villarreal a couple of weeks back. Victory against Vienna would provide an opportunity to go top of Group G depending on other results. Rapid Vienna last night fired their manager, so they're in a bit of turmoil at the moment. They've suffered 4 defeats in 9 league games, and they lost 2-0 at the weekend there. So a statement from the club website there is a meeting of the board on Monday, and we will decide our plans for the match against Rangers this week. So a club fairly much in turmoil coming to Ibrox on Thursday. Lewis, I'll come at you first on this one. Obviously a huge night. We've not had a night like this at Ibrox for a while. Do you fancy our chances?
We've got a good chance, yeah. I'm really looking forward to it. I got my tickets through the door a couple of days ago. So yeah, I think if we play anything like we did in the second half against Villarreal, we've got a good chance of getting a good result. The players will know that if we start with a home win, that'll get us 4 points on the board, put us top of the group. With another 2 home games to go, we'll have a good chance of getting out of what, on the face of it, is a really difficult group.
It is a difficult group, but I genuinely think if we get a half decent result on Thursday, I think we're in with a good. I mean, a win, especially if we get a win on Thursday, we are right in the hunt for possibly getting out that group. So yeah, I'm looking forward to Thursday. It's going to be my boy's first European night. He started going to watch Rangers around about the time we were in the 3rd division and stuff like that. So he's never had anything like this. So from that perspective, really, really looking forward to him. His first night under the lights in a big European game. So I'm dead excited about it. Really, really looking forward to it. David, how do you think we should set up on Thursday? Should we go for the win or should we be a bit cautious? How do you feel?
I feel confident, Colin. Despite the performance today, I'm with Lewis and yourself. I feel confident. Obviously, they're going to need to take some time to figure out how Rapid are going to play within the game. Now that might sound counterintuitive, given that Steven Gerrard said that he doesn't want his players to wait for the other team, that he wants to go right from the first whistle. And I think we should go for it. I mean, it's a home game. We've got 3 points to play for. As you've alluded to, if we can collect 3 vital points, we've got 4 points and still got 2 home games left. That would give us a fighting chance of progressing out the group. So, I'd like to see who's available for selection. Whether there might be guys like Ryan Jack back fit, I'm not too sure. We need to wait and see in that one. But yeah, we've got to go for it. There's no point expending all that mental and physical energy trying to get to the group stages and then delivering a weak performance at home. I mean, the fans are up for it. You said there's plenty of guys and girls will be going along to the game on Thursday night, never having witnessed at a European night like this at Ibrox. So there's a lot of time to be caught up on, and I'm sure the fans will do their job and be the 12th man, and hopefully the lads in the park can do us proud and get a result.
Lewis, as David mentioned there, if we get a result on Thursday, which I think is more than possible, especially when you consider the sort of disarray that Rapid are in at the moment. If we did get the 3 points, it would put us on 4 points. Surely that would give us a really excellent chance of getting out of that group and getting past the Christmas mark in a European tournament for the first time in 2011 or something like that.
Yep, I completely agree. I mean, if we can go 4 points in the first two games, with our first away game being Villarreal, who are the favourites to win the group, we've put ourselves in a really strong position. But despite Rapid having some problems domestically, we have to remember they did beat Spartak Moscow 2-0 in the first game, so they'll be feeling confident as well after a good home performance.
This is true. Yeah, they did win their first game, I suppose, but maybe they're like us. Maybe they're doing better in Europe than they are domestically. But I think at home, 55,000 Rangers fans there, big European night under the lights. I think we've got to be positive and go for the win. Lewis, what do you think the score will be?
I think it'll be tight. I think we could sneak it 2-0 or 2-1.
2-0 or 2-1. David, how are you feeling?
2-1 for Rangers.
2-1. Right, I'll go 2-1 as well. See if that comes in. A big boost for the Gersnet podcast in terms of predicting fixtures.
Are we going to go for predicting the first goal scorer as well?
Who are you going to go for?
Going to go for Katic. I think he'll start and I think he'll score.
Katic. David?
Got to be Alfie. Colin?
Alfie. I'll go with Kent. Just because it's the only name I could think of that.
I think Kent's a good shout, Colin. He'd be my second pick.
Yeah, I'll go with that. When you see, he'll probably not even start, knowing my luck. Now, obviously, we've got the game on Thursday, big night. A couple of days after that, though, it's Hearts at Ibrox, which has now become a crucial game after the defeat today. David, is it win or bust next week? Is it absolutely vital that Rangers win next week?
I think so. If we've got any aspirations of winning the title, Colin, we've got to beat Hearts at home. As I've mentioned earlier, it's shaping up to be a 6-pointer given the fixture list next week. Hearts are a good side, going well, scoring goals, keeping goals out at the other end, more importantly. And we've obviously faltered a wee bit today. I think, though, it could work in our favour. Obviously, we've got a big game on Thursday night which could have a bearing on the players' mindset going into Sunday's game. But I think that despite me saying that in my first answer to your first question tonight about a lack of class in the Rangers team when the chips are down, I think that the two games coming up, I think the players will show their ability. I think they'll rise to the occasion, and I've just got a funny feeling that they're going to collect maximum points over the two games. I just hope that I'm not proved wrong.
Well, I hope you're right in that as well, David. That would be, it would certainly lift us after that sort of sucker punch today. Lewis, obviously Hearts have had a great start to the campaign, top of the league. I think they've only dropped 2 points. But when you look at it, I saw a stat today saying that, it's the first time, I think since 92, 93, that we've reached this stage of the season when neither Rangers or Celtic are in the top four. So you look at Hibs, they've had a great start, Livingston, Kilmarnock, and Rangers and Celtic are sitting outside that top four. So does it feel like this is going to be, I know we're talking about win or bust, but there's also a feeling that the teams in that sort of top six are taking points off one another. So does this feel like it's going to be a more open title race than previous years?
I think there's definitely early signs of that being the case. I think Hearts have got a really strong first 11. I think Stephen Naismith looks far better than he did last season. Towards the end of last season, Stephen Naismith looked a shadow of his former self, but his early form this season has been exceptional. Even the Scotland performance was impressive. I think it's all about the squad depth, though, going forward. I think Hearts have a really strong 11, and so do Hibs and Kilmarnock as well. But I think Rangers and Celtic still have the strongest squads this year, and I don't see they finish in the top two, bar Rangers or Celtic.
David, would you agree with that?
It's difficult to disagree with Lewis's logic there, Colin. I think that there's decent teams in there. Kilmarnock have shown that they're a decent side, home and away. So have Hibs. Hearts, I think, as we'll see next Sunday, they'll show to be a good side. And I think that before the injuries and suspensions and the heavy pitches start to kick in, I think it might be a wee bit tighter and nip and tuck until possibly either ourselves or Celtic or both either progress or fall out of Europe until things become more crystallised. It's, yourselves, it's when we get round about Christmas, that tends to start, forming how the season will start to look in the second half of it, getting into the spring. And that's usually a good barometer of where teams will be come the end of the season. And obviously, there's other inputs that can factor into that, but I've just got a sneaking suspicion that the teams will cut each other's throats. I could be wrong, of course. I mean, next season, next week rather, it might all that might render what I've just said there absolutely ridiculous. But we'll need to wait and see. I just think that it might go a wee bit further in terms of, can you pick a winner in terms of the title race this season than it has been in other more competitive seasons, shall we say, in the past.
I think it's quite ironic that, I know it's early doors and, as you two have pointed out, Rangers and Celtic have got European commitments and stuff, and maybe that's having an impact, but it just seems over the last, since Rangers were trapdoored into the lower leagues, that it's been a one-horse race, and it just seems bizarre now that it looks like it could be a 3 or 4, maybe even 5-horse race. You've got so many teams in that sort of top 6, taking points off one another, including Rangers and Celtic. So, I mean, both Rangers and Celtic have lost 2 games already this season. I can't remember the last time that happened. So it's strange, but we'll see what comes of it. Quick score prediction from both of you for Hearts next week. David?
I'll go a tight 2-1 Rangers.
A tight 2-1. Is there any other kind of 2-1?
Well, you never know.
Okay.
Never know. It could be a flattering 2-1.
True. You got it that well. Lewis, what about yourself?
I think I'm going to go for a 2-0.
2-0.
2-0 Rangers.
2-0 Rangers. I'll go 2-1. I'm going to agree with David on this one. And I hope we're all right. I hope we get the points. Right then, before we wrap things up for the week, we'll do a quick Sev quote of the week. Lewis, I believe you've got one.
Yep, I believe that looking at Kerrydale Meltdown on Twitter, one of their posters has said, got Sevco TV on and they've mentioned Celtic 3 times already. Ha ha ha. Absolutely obsessed. I think the irony is lost on this one. Yeah,
but we've got the $5.99 out of them, so we'll be happy with that, I suppose. As you say, the irony is totally lost in these people. It really is. But hey ho, can't laugh at them too much this week, I suppose, given a result. But there's always something you can get at them. Right, that's about all the time I've got for this week. A big thanks to David and Lewis for their comments. Brilliant contributions as always, guys. A big thanks to our audio engineer, Graham, for his sound technician wizardry. There'll be a show next week. Obviously, we've got a big European night at Ibrox on Thursday, and we've got this huge game against Hearts on Sunday. So there'll be a podcast out next week covering that. If you've listened to the podcast and you enjoy it, please subscribe and get the word out there on all the social media forums. Tell your pals, do whatever it does to get the word out there that you enjoy the podcast. In the meantime, get yourself onto the Gersnet and the forums. On the website itself, you get match previews, match reports and opinions, loads of good stuff. The forums, well, it's just all Rangers fans talking about Rangers. What else do you want, people? You'll get that at www.gersnet.co.uk. And until the next time, thanks again.